Welcome back, folks, to some more Eric the Unready. Alright, here we are. Let's head west. As you follow the road up into the hills, the landscape grows darker and more forbidding until the road stops just below a black, jagged cave entrance. You scramble up the hillside and feel your way into the ominous shadow. Suddenly, a huge dragon looms out in the darkness. Behind the monster, you see a ring and a raw stake of eternity. Before you can make a move, the dragon spews a stream of fire directly at your neck. You roll to one side to avoid the fiery onslaught and flee from the cave to the safety of the flatlands. You join the stream of people and soon come to the heart of the fair. A well-trampled meadow surrounded by food stalls, tents, and pavilions. The crowd swirls around you, revealing occasional glimpses of strolling musicians, jugglers, sword swallowers, jesters, and fire eaters. In the very center of the field is a stripped maypole that is topped by a long red scarf. Nearby, a whole boar is roasting on a spit that turns under the watchful eye of a burly cook. Gaming area lies to the west and northeast. The stockade is to the east, and the path leads north to a natural amphitheater. You can leave the fair by going south. Let's go to the amphitheater. You are sitting on a hillside that makes the natural amphitheater overlooking a stage. There is no sign here. Beyond it, a path lies around the north to the stage entrance, and another leads off to the west. Let's go west. The Pavilion of Tamar is packed with futuristic technology which sets out what life of tourists will be like in the not-too-distant future. On the main table are a hoop, a chamber pot, a rubber band, and an odd-looking kitchen device, a viper's cage, a gong, a model of a catapult, and an aardvark. On a pedestal off to the side is a very large leech. The only exit lies to the east. In the cage, you see a viper. Let's go ahead and get the rubber band. Let's get the leech. Carefully you pick up the giant slug, taking care to ensure that its sucker has no chance to attach itself to your skin. Let's get the marble. As you reach for the marble, your fingers brush up against the Catjet 3 launching mechanism. The hair trigger on the catapult fires and the black marble arches through the portable window, nearly missing the window shade, and strikes the gong. A very large, very stupid troll lumbers into the room. "Display, not touch," he recites mechanically. He finds the marble and reloads the catapult. Knuckles dragging against the floor, the troll lumbles away again. Let's pull down the shade. And get the marble again. This time the marble launches into the shade. The marble drops down into the viper's cage, falling directly into the viper's mouth. The snake closes its mouth and makes ready to swallow the marble. Seconds later, he realizes his mistake and he spits the marble out at high velocity. It strikes the gong with a resounding clang. A very large, very stupid troll lumbers into the room. "Display, not touch," he recites mechanically. He finds the marble and reloads the catapult. Knuckles dragging against the floor, the troll rumbles away. Alright. Let's put the rubber band on the snake. Thinking very guilty thoughts, you put the hand inside the cage and slip the band over the viper's mouth. The snake tries to hiss at you, but it comes out with a... We're going to put the cord on the aardvark. Actually, when I was playing through this game the first time, before I did this LP, I had to cheat here. I would have never thought of this. Removing the bungee cord from the backpack, you hook one end of the bungee cord to the aardvark's collar and the other end to the edge of the table. Now let's get the marble. As you reach for the marble, your fingers brush against the Catjet 3 launching mechanism. The hair trigger on the catapult fires, and the black marble arches through the air and hits the closed window shade. The marble drops down into the viper's cage and hits the viper square in the dome piece. The marble rolls out of the cage, and the aardvark mistakes the marble for a large, particularly juicy black bug and starts to give chase, but is soon pulled back by the short bungee. Not to be stopped, the aardvark unfurls his incredibly long tongue, which unfortunately gets entangled in the switch that activates the Crush-O-Matic. The huge weight falls to the floor and slams onto the floorboard, which immediately pivots up and crashes into going. A very large, very stupid troll lumbers into the room. Display, not touch. He finds the marble and reloads the catapult and then winds the crush-o-matic weight back to the top. Knuckles dragging against the floor, the troll lumbers away. You stand on the end of the board furthest from the crusher. The huge weight falls to the floor and slams onto the loose floorboard, sending you flying into the air. You do a double somersault into the air and land butt first in the chamber pot. You stagger to your feet and tug at the pot, but it is now firmly attached to your asshole. The marble seems to have disappeared, and the only positive note is that your activity doesn't seem to have alerted the troll. Let's go to the shooting gallery. You have wandered into a shooting gallery, manned by a friendly-looking Baka. The pavilion is long and narrow with 3 rows of moving targets at the far end. The Baka gives you the crossbow and says, "Shoot at any target you like." Okay. The crossbow strikes the target. "Congratulations," says the Baka. He tosses you a chicken. A pretty young woman comes up to the Baka and asks for directions. "You can go anywhere you want, baby," he says. "And I'm just the man to take you there." The woman leaves in a hurry. "You seem to be inordinately interested in wenches." "Chicks dig me. Why fight it?" "What do I get if I hit the target?" "A rubber chicken, a noisemaker, or a whoopee cushion. But only while supplies last." "What's your best pickup line?" "I knew you needed help. Well, listen up. Here's what you do. You take your hand. You look deep into her eyes and you tell her that your souls have called out each other since the dawn of time. Then you say, 'Want to fool around?' It doesn't always work, but one knows out the does in a hurry." "Didn't I see you in studs?" "Nah, this guy's a loser. Strictly amateur hour." Inventory check. Got a goddamn chicken in my hands. Alright, let's turn southwest and then east. You push your way through the dense circle of people gathered around the stalks. The pillory is a clumsy wooden affair with holes for necks and wrists. It's currently empty, and the crowd eagerly awaits a new target of abuse. The pavilion lies to the east, the meadow to the west. You have stumbled into a convention. You see some skull cards. A burly-looking fool comes up to you and hits you with the pig's bladder and says, "Fools, auditions this way." He sits you down in front of 3 sour-faced judges. "Go ahead," one of them says. "Be funny." Let's see here. West. There we go. A police nymph drags a disreputable-looking man and knocks him into the stalks. The crowd boos and jeers at the poor unfortunate. He makes a face, which only eggs on them and encourages them to start throwing things. "What's your name?" "My name's Daffel Fimpton, and I don't know why I come here every year, because I always end up in the stocks. Here, catch! That guy make fun of me, everyone else does. Are you comfortable? You make a good living. Don't think about your nose. If you do it, it might start to itch. Thank you. Try not to keep that in mind. Try this one. She sells by the seesaw. All that mind would be a multi-rebler. I think I've taunted you enough for now. Thank heaven for thy favor. Have you ever heard of Mo, Larry, and Curly? Why, yes. Mo, Thistlebottom, Larry of Southwark, and Curly Fries. Three of the most respected autos in the business. Their treatise of the two-fingered eye poke is classic in the field, very high of the knock-knock meter. If I become a fool, do I get April the first off? Of course not, don't be an idiot. Well, be an idiot, but not in that way. Tell me about those hats. They're actually very sturdy. There's a steel cup inside to protect your head from thrown objects, and the whole thing is fireproof in case someone tries to set you on fire. Do any of you guys ever go bad? Yes, occasionally fools can go over to the dark side of humor. The last time it happened, we banished the evil jester to Kyrandia, and he hasn't been heard of since. We're of course talking of Malcolm. What are you two guys on the ends doing with the other hands? None of your business. Now get on with your audition. Thank you and good night. You've been a great audience. The judges score your activity. They throw out the high and the low score, giving you a 2.6. One of them says, you'll have to do much better than that if you hope to win your Fool's Cup. Go ahead and leave and come back in. And we'll hit the judge. One of the judges bops you over the head and says, that may be funny where you come from, but here doesn't rate much of a chuckle. The judges score your activity. They throw out the high and low, give you a 4.2. You'll have to do much better than that. Alright, let's see. Congratulations, says the barker. He hands you a whoopee cushion. The barker spots two women in the crowd and says to you, the blonde one's mine. You can have the redhead. I'll talk to the chef here. Who gets to eat the bar? It's for the fair organizers. As soon as it's done, I've got to change into my posh clothes and deliver it to them. The bar looks done to me. What are you waiting for? I know I've forgotten something. I just can't remember what it could be. Could it be the herbs, spices, special sauce, sesame seed bun? Surely you heard that barbecued meat contains all kind of carcinogens? What do you care? You're not the one who's going to be eating it. Don't call me Shirley. Okay, can I call you Chrome Dome? Sure, assuming you won't mind if I stuff hot coals up your asshole. What's with the red scarf up there? The bar belongs to Lily. Go to one of her shows in the amphitheater and you'll learn all about it. I don't believe we have anything more to say to each other. Parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme. Could they be talking about a Simon and Garfunkel song? I don't know. Let's go back to this goofy-looking asshole to the west. This shady area just to the west of the meadow, there's a three-handed elf. Ranged out in front of him are three shells. One red, one blue, and one green. He is constantly moving the shells around, lifting first one, then another, tossing a pea back and forth. On the tree behind him are some woodcuts. Step right up. Step right up. Who's next? Just a few minutes of your life against the chance to win some woodcuts of the lovely Lady Lily. You, sir, would you like to play? Like to play with my ass. Certainly, sir, says the elf. He puts the pea under the wedge shell and starts moving the shells around. After a moment, he stops and says, all right, where's the pea? Under the blue shell. You turn over the blue shell, but discover nothing underneath it. The elf turns over the red shell to reveal the pea and says, sorry, better luck next time. You suddenly feel a few minutes older, while the elf appears a few minutes younger. One of the strolling musicians wandered by. He plays the game and wins, but turns down the prize. How do you play that thing? Well, right now I can't. It's missing a reed. If I don't get one soon, I'll lose my job. Why do you keep playing that game and turning down the woodcuts? I'm just trying to buy time. That's the last set of woodcuts the elf has got. If I take him, he'll close up shop and go away. Nice shades. Thanks, they're polarized, waterproof, fireproof, and shock resistant. Perfect for kids with really rough cracks. How do you keep beating the elf? He has magic. I have mine. Later, dude. Oh, we didn't get the cap yet. You bounce the rubber chicken off the noggin of one of the judges. He is not amused, but the other two crack the fuck up. Your score's 9.5. One of the judges stands and intones, by virtue of power vested in me by the Fool's Guild, I hereby name you the Apprentice Fool. You're entitled to wear this hat at all times, and in return, in 1 year to qualify for full membership of the guild. He gives you a fool's cap and escorts you out to the pavilion to the stockade. Now get out there and make a fool of yourself. Make us proud. You put on the fool's cap. Time passes. The amphitheater fills up. A storyteller comes out into the stage. The story of the dragon. Once upon a time, a baby dragon was born to an overprotective mother who took the infant to the river of magic, which was renowned for conferring invulnerability upon those who bathed in its waters. Legend says that just when the mother tipped the baby into the river, the god of mischief snuck up behind her and tickled her asshole. She almost dropped the baby into the river, but by some adroit juggling managed to save the infant from drowning. As the baby grew to dragonhood, it became apparent that it was indeed invulnerable, except for one spot, on its ballsack, constantly shifting among the various places where its mother had touched it during her juggling act. Cloaked in a near-complete invulnerability, the dragon ravaged the countryside. By day he lurked in a cave, guarding the raw steak of eternity, and a magical ring he called semi-precious. But by night he emerged from his cave, filled with bloodlust, and every night he killed another unfortunate fucking soul, and devoured that poor ass on the spot. All the best knights in the land came to do battle with the motherfucker, and all were killed. Soon the remaining knights impressed upon the shop steward that assigning the dragon as a quest would prove more dangerous for the steward than the dragon. But then there came into the land an intrepid courier of royal mails, Bartan of Kipchak. His regularly appointed rounds took him past the dragon's cave every day, so he learned of the monster's dread habits. Bartan racked his brain and one day thought of how to bring the relief to the land. He arranged for the dragon to be placed on the mailing list of every junk mailer on Taurus. Soon, the volume of the dragon's daily mail was staggering. It took him longer and longer each day to go through it until he had no longer the time to ravage the countryside. Bartan's stratagem was successful, but the courier paid with his life. He died of hernia delivering the dragon's mail on a Wednesday following a 4-day weekend. Now, there is only one day a year when the dragon emerges from his cave. Each year, on the anniversary of the courtier's death, the dragon flies over St. Bart's Day Festival and swoops down to carry off a fairgoer. The storyteller stands and seems to stare right at you. Today is the day of the dragon's flight, but none of you should worry. He only seems to attack extremely unlucky people.
Oh shit.
We need an invitation. What the fuck is that?
I can't win the fucking game! Fuck!
I am missing something. I can't remember what to do. Oh, Lily is performing. Lily bumps and grinds her way to the edge of the stage and begins to sing. The temperature in the immediate area instantly climbs by 5 degrees. My name is Darling Lily and I'm here to sing for you. My heart is in the right place and my other parts are too. But any man who wants me has to pass a little test. So stay a while and listen if you want to keep abreast. She shimmies over to the other side of the stage to sing the next verse. 2 men in the front row pass out and are quickly revived with buckets of water that are kept on one hand just for that purpose. The task is very simple. It's really a beaut. I'll run up you up the maypole and watch as you salute. Just bring me back the pavilion that sits atop that tree, and you'll get in the garden to pick my fleur-de-lis. Lily undulates back to the center stage to sing the final verse of her song. Everyone in the first 2 rows rushes toward the stage, now beaten back by the security crew. Now Helen had her features that could launch 10,000 ships, but I can bring them back here with the wiggle of my hips. So come on boys and try it, if you're tired of being chased. 'Cause apples left unminded are a terrible thing to waste. The crowd goes wild. Lily leans forward in a deep bow which almost sparks off a riot. After an extended standing ovation, she finally blows some kisses to the crowd and leaves the stage. The amphitheater slowly empties, and after a while you're left alone. As you get ready to leave, an usher comes up and hands you a note. I saw you out front during the show. Please come meet me in my dressing room. You present your invitation to the burly guard who grudgingly ushers you into Lily's boudoir. Alright, this is what I was trying to get happen. Just had to wait some more time for the show. Dressing room. Lily's boudoir is filled with feminine torches. It is all the intimate for a room set in the middle of a fairground. In the vase you see a weed. Lily meets you as you come in and says, Ewick, how twirling. She sits down and continues, I hope you enjoyed my show. I noticed you in the crowd, and I couldn't help thinking to myself, wow. What a guy. She leans forward a little and purrs. I hope this will be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. You're fucking dumb, Lily. But yes, it will be. Hello, boys, I missed you. Ew, what a romantic way to greet a lady. Swing. Is that the Baldwin in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? My goodness, what an expensive gown. Was it a gift? Yes, it was, and goodness had nothing to do with it. What is your boa doing at the top of the maypole? I do not want my love to just any man. Bring me the boa as proof of your prowess. Then we can get down to brass tacks. Is it true what they say about spending the night with you? It's true, it's true. How come you didn't have trouble with your R's on the stage? It's curious, isn't it? My problem always seems to go away when I'm singing. Odd Balkans, me lady. I must cease this parley. Very well. Lily wants my cock. A police nymph appears out of nowhere. She grabs your ears and twists it like your first grade teacher used to do. Then she drags you off to the crowd to the stocks. Once there, she puts all your possessions in a pile, frees the current victim, and lowers your ball of the neck and wrist and locks you in. She disappears. You bellow until your throat gets sore. You get a cramp in your leg. You stick your tongue out, and as they say, you are not the best fairgoers I've ever seen, so there! An angelic-looking young boy toddles along next to his father. The father says to him, You've been such a good boy, Chauncey. Here's a nice shiny apple. The father turns away for a moment, and the boy sticks his tongue out at you. The boy throws the apple at you, striking you on the nose. The apple rolls into your pile of possessions. The boy makes a face at you.
Nanny boo boo, stick your head in doo doo.
You can't do that while you're in the stocks. The father tugs on the boy's hand. Come along now, it's time to leave. The boy starts to protest, but the father pulls him off into the crowd. You squirm around, but you can't seem to escape from the stocks. An urchin steps forwards and holds a dead stinking rat just under your nose. You stick out your tongue and say, "You are the best fairgoers." A dog comes up and licks you on the cheek. You stick out your tongue and say, "Eat my asshole." A mosquito crawls into your ears and settles down to have lunch. The nymph returns, she opens the stocks, restores all your possessions, and disappears. Alright folks, that about wraps it up for this video. We'll figure out what the hell to do in the next one. Thanks for watching.